All right, here with Cal women's basketball head coach Charmin Smith, who's coming off a very busy offseason from coaching in the FIBA U18 America Cup to being on a Valkyries analyst on TV to getting set and working through the transfer portal for Cal women's basketball. Coach, thank you for the time. And how do you ultimately sum up what the last couple months have been for you and your time?
Oh, I think it's been amazing. First of all, thanks for having me. Um, Really happy to spend this time with you. And the last couple months, it's been a whirlwind for sure. It's been nonstop, go, 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 and it's been so amazing and just a lot of growth, a lot of really special opportunities that I'm extremely grateful for, and opportunities that have motivated me to where I'm super excited about working with this team and what things can look like for us in this upcoming season.
So I'll start with one of the events that you got into right smack dab in the middle of Mexico, the FIBA U18 America Cup, and just walk me through what that experience was like, getting a medal and doing that undefeated run, and ultimately what the process was of getting back into it and then working through it amidst, what is technically your off season to a certain extent.
Yeah, I mean, I left for trials on May 28th, I think, or May 29th, and was gone through June 16th with Team USA. And to just be able to say that, right, like Team USA, to be with this group of young ladies that all got to wear USA across their chest and represent their country. I think that's an amazing experience that, people dream about. And I tried to really make sure they understood like what it was that they were participating in. Sometimes when you're young, you don't really realize the opportunities that you have. So I know for me as a coach, I'm like, whoa, like I'm wearing USA polos, coaching in a USA shirt, and it was special. And then to have so much talent, right, to coach the best of the best in our country, it was a lot of fun. And coaching staff was great. Learned a lot from Niall and Robin, and got to share my own experiences. And I think we came away with a connection that will last. I'm definitely rooting for them, and just really grateful to have had the opportunity.
From a big picture lens, and at least this is what I compare it to, given the World Cup's going on. You hear the talk of sometimes the talk of coaching styles being different from a team versus when you're playing for your country. How do you
Mhm.
kind of compare contrast being on the sideline for coaching a Team USA versus Cal women's basketball?
Yeah, I mean, here I do feel, pressure to succeed and get this program, back to, top 25 rankings and consistent runs in the NCAA tournament and things like that. That's nothing compared to what it feels like in women's basketball to be playing for, the USA. Like we do not lose. Like you must win. Like it's just like you have to win. And so that pressure, even though I knew it was a tournament in which we were, the like a very heavy favorite, right? Like we felt confident, and there's just that pressure that I don't experience as a college coach for sure.
As we take kind of turn into one of your other steps this offseason and being on Valkyrie's broadcasts and being an analyst serving throughout the pre and post, kind of what compelled you to kind of take that opportunity and kind of as you turn around and get yourself, so to speak, out there in that type of medium, explaining and showing off your basketball mind?
Yeah, I think Anish does a really good job of making connections and allowing me to have that platform to be able to, have those opportunities to hang out with Vern, and, I've hung out with Larry. Like I've done some different things with the Valkyries, and that's a cool part about having a professional team right in your backyard. I want to be involved with them as much as I can, and it's so much fun to watch what, Ohema and Natalie and Jess Smith have done with that organization. So. I'm happy to talk about the Valkyries anytime. And it's cool because you sit there with the guys, you're watching the game, and we're like, oh, talking about the aces and talking about what's going on in the league and talking about, Veronica Burton and Gabby. And it's just fun. It's basketball. And then to, have the lights go on and the cameras and people are in your ear telling you things. That's something that I'm really excited about. And, I enjoy that opportunity, and hopefully I represented, for the Valkyries in a good way. And also like represented our game and shared things that our fans can learn from and appreciate as they're watching our sport.
Was it a bit of a shock once you had a producer in your ear while you're talking to make sure you're not trying to divide your attention between a couple things at once?
Yeah, I mean, I did it last year too, so this wasn't the first time. And I don't know, it's fun.
Yeah.
I think I did well. It's something I'm comfortable with and hope to have more opportunities for sure.
Have you kind of noticed the enthusiasm from places like Valhalla kind of translate down towards the Bay Area as a whole when you're out in the community and kind of enthusiasm from your program's perspective?
That's something that I would like to see. That's something that I'm hoping we can get more of. I'm like, if the Valkyries can have 18,000 people in, Chase during the summer and sell out Valhalla, when there's so many other things that people could be doing, then why can't we get like 10% of that fan base? And 10% of that fan base doubles our attendance. Like we could double our attendance if we just get 10% of what they have. So that is my goal. That is my dream. Is I just need Valkyries fans to say, "Hey, Valkyrie season is over. Let's go watch the California Golden Bears." Because there's not a lot of crossover. These Valkyries fans are not rolling over into the Warriors season. So they love women's basketball. We too have very, very dynamic, exciting players and personalities, right? To match the Gabbies and the Burtons and, Kayla Thornton and, they love LA. And it's like we have that same type of energy here in Haas. I just need the people in the fun costumes and, acting crazy to make it have that type of Valhalla feel. And we definitely would love that.
I will co-sign the basketball product and personalities from your guys' end, shifting focus towards your team as you come off of last season, the WBIT appearance, and trying to get
Hmm.
back to the NCAA tournament. What did
Hmm.
you, I guess, what were your overall takeaways of what that season was, and ultimately how your mind tried to warp into what the transfer portal was in setting up this year's roster?
Yeah, and I just want to be clear when I say we have the same type of personalities and players, like, it's relative, right? We're not a
Mm.
professional basketball
Yeah.
team. But we're a pretty good college basketball team. And what did we do? We wanted to keep our core. We wanted to keep our culture and the personality that's been shaping us. We knew that we could return starters. We wanted those starters to be back here on the roster. So we returned four starters, returned seven members from last year's team, and then we added seven really good pieces that we needed. We added, three post players. That was definitely a need of ours. And to see them in practice right now, it's like, well, they're really making a difference. And then we added some depth and some firepower on the perimeter. So really excited about it. And I think we will be a really fun team to watch. And people are going to really want to be in Hoss Pavilion for this team.
One of the players that really came on strong and was the most improved in the ACC period was Giselle Amal. And
Uh-huh.
what did you kind of see from her that kind of just, I don't know if unlocked is the right word, but the ability to just consistently be in the fight for the rebounding, being two-way player, and being someone who will have their number called as one of the leaders this coming season.
Yeah, when I think of Gisela, two things come to mind. She was healthy, number one. Feeling good with her knees and her body, and she was confident. And I give her and Hank and Lauren the credit for getting her back to where she felt really good with her body. And then I think Gisela, along with our coaching staff, deserves the credit for getting her confident because we tell her all the time, we need you. Gee, shoot that. Gee, you can do this. Gee, we need you to guard this person. Like we just poured into her like need, need, need. And I think when players feel needed and they feel like you believe in them and you want them to, accomplish certain tasks, then they're going to give you everything they have to go out and try to do those things. And I think that's what G did. I think she knew that her team needed her and she stepped up. So now it's a different role, right? It's okay, you're on the scouting report, people know who you are, right? This is some of what Lou went through last year, right? From being that person, hey Lou, come on, we need you, get in there, do something, to like, uh-oh, top of the scouting report. And I think you're going to see that for both Lou and G. I think Lou definitely will be ready for it because she had a whole year of it. And I expect G to be just as capable as well.
One more on the returners before we get into the newcomers. How did you see them kind of complement their games over the course of the offseason to this point? You mentioned how Lulu's had to kind of adjust to being the top of the scouting report last year, how Miracle, Taylor, how have they kind of refined their games to, be able to do a little bit more of everything when it's needed?
Yeah, I mean, Lou is just working to be a pro, right? Like she's repping like a pro. She spends time outside of her time with us, pro style workouts, and we got to help her try to get there. And I think she's highly motivated. I think she wants to win, right? She's really excited about returning to this team to win with this group. And then, Miracle, Taylor, and Naya, I think the biggest thing with them is that this is their first time with a second year somewhere, right? Miracle and Naya have been bouncing around different places. So I'm noticing that with Miracle, there's more of a comfort level. There's a trust. She knows the coaching staff. She knows like what we say and how we're going to treat her. So I see her with more of a presence this year. Again, Naya, it's her second time around. She knows what we're doing. And Taylor's not a freshman anymore. So I think those are the biggest things with those three is that there's a comfortability. You know what's going on, and now you're ready to take that next step in your second season with the Bears.
Another kind of big picture lens question as we look into the newcomers.
Hmm.
From an outsider's perspective, when things are changing so much in college athletics, it's so easy to almost over course correct, and then you have to find your way back to the happy medium. What was the some of the challenges, and from just a philosophical perspective, and making sure that you guys were able to get what you needed in the post while also not necessarily sacrificing what you already had?
Well, I think first it was like secure our returners, and we went hard after our core. And then we knew that we needed a five, right? With Sakima leaving, that was the one starting position that was vacant, right? We really wanted to fill that spot. So we were very intentional about that. And then the freshman class was signed, last year. So we had those four freshmen coming in. We knew that we would have that, and then just wanted to like get a little bit more depth on the perimeter. And as I said, like some firepower, like some people that could help us get buckets. And I think we did that with Shannon and Carly. But it was extremely intentional. And most importantly, like the character piece is as best we could. We wanted to make sure that we were getting good people because I do think when you have the right feel in the locker room, the right culture, that can help you move faster along with acclimating new talent.
How have you seen Shannon in particular hit the ground running in terms of adjusting to your guys' system and trying to be one of the guards that helps lead the way back to the NCAA tournament?
Yeah, I think Shannon, first of all, I think her personality is really delightful. She's got a good sense of humor. So it's been fun having her around. And what I'm learning about her is like, she's a gamer. We have some different like drills that we do where it's like, okay, do it this way, do it this way. And she's never done them before. So she's not going to look like the veteran when we're doing that. But then we say, okay, 5-on-5, go. And now she looks like a different player. So she's got to get comfortable with, things that we do. But yeah, I expect her to have a tremendous impact. I think she's really dynamic offensively and can score the basketball, and that's what we wanted.
And in working with the fives, you mentioned in being intentional about that, Albina Silas, someone who can look
Mhm.
like who can make a huge difference. What have you seen from her, and at least from some of the highlights we were shown, and getting up to speed of her games, someone who can ultimately make some things happen in the ACC?
Yeah, she's more physical than I thought. Like she's in there banging. Like she's aggressive. She's got great size. She talks. I love how vocal she is right now, even when everything is very new. I think she's got like 3 practices under her belt, and she's already established herself as a dominant force. And I'm really happy with what she's doing, as well as Giovanna. I think they're both ready, and we wanted ACC posts, people that were ready for ACC basketball, and I think both of them are ready to play in the ACC right now.
Kind of looking ahead, and at least from my perspective in the years that I've gotten to cover you and your team, it, you got coaching continuity as well. And it seems like this coaching staff has been quite together for quite, not in terms of the years, but in terms of the way you guys operate and the way
Mhm.
you're able to communicate and such. What is kind of the most fulfilling part about going to work with your assistant coaches and staff?
Yeah, I love that I've been able to keep my staff. It's 3 years plus for everyone on the coaching staff. And then, obviously we added the general manager position just because it's a new position all around. But support staff, just keeping that continuity, it helps me feel comfortable. This is my family. I think they do a good job of, filling in where I'm deficient, where I need help, where I can be better. And then we all have the same goals, the same motivation, right? Like we're all fighting for the same thing. And I think that trickles down to the players to where they see how we are, and it leaves a good impression on them and how they want to be.
How have you seen the effect of Megan as general manager kind of take shape from your end?
I mean, it's hard to articulate. I said, hey, what do you want your job description to be? I don't know what this position looks like. I know that I need help with rev share and roster management. What else can you do to help us? And the way that she's um, really embraced that and taken so much on her plate to take things off of my plate, off of our coaches' plates, off of other support staff plates, like she's doing a lot. And I think the way we manage the portal these past 2 years is really indicative of her impact on our program and how we're able to get really good players, and manage this, financial piece extremely well.
As we get towards the conclusion here, how were you able to recharge and refresh for this upcoming season? You've been busy. Basketball has a
Yeah.
pretty ruthless calendar, all things considered,
Yeah.
along the lines of football. How were you able to kind of reset yourself and be ready to go for day one yourself?
Well, I said I'm rejuvenated after USA, and that's just because it gave me so much confidence, right? Like being with four really great coaches in Scott at Oregon State, Meg at Columbia, and Robin at Michigan State, and Niel at Notre Dame. Like we talked all the time and we're sharing ideas. And I was like, okay, yeah, we're doing the right thing. Yes, we're doing the right thing, right? Like it was a confidence builder for me. And then how I could interact with these really talented players and the reception I got from them, like how they received me as a coach was like, yo, you're doing the right things, right? Like I appreciate that confidence boost. And then there's so many ideas where I'm like, oh, I can't wait to get back and be able to, do X, Y, and Z. So I'm rejuvenated. I'm not rested. Like my voice, this is not my normal voice. I was at urgent care yesterday, like, yo, you got to help me. I do not feel 100, but I got to keep going. I got to keep going. And then there's the August shutdown. And when the August shutdown hits, that will be my time to rest and recover, and make sure that I'm ready for the start of the season.
Any vacation lined up?
That's the shutdown, yes. So I'm going to go to London and New York for in August.
Ooh, that'll be a good one. So, Charmin, thank you so much for spending the time with us.